Well, I remember you were saying something about the pineal gland. I even made sure I had a little bit of like just actual data, quote unquote, just in case. But for me, in regards to the third eye, I today was the first time I read something that said that it's something that no longer is present inside of our bodies. I had no clue that this was what was being pushed, just given the fact that it's very much still present, and it is actually how most people get their information. And people who are aware of its usage and aware of its power, they often use it to channel. They like for me, I a little bit of a little bit of telepath. I would like to say I'm a little bit of a telepath, but I mean I can hear people who are not talking directly to me. I can kind of answer questions. Very connected and tuned to the spiritual realm, but that's through actual decalcifying of the pineal gland, because the pineal gland is basically our projection onto the world. So we see our eyes. What are our two eyes that we have are what is watching the movie that we create, and our pineal gland is what's creating the movie. So from birth, we are actually, just because of how powerful it is, the process of calcification actually happens. So where we're like our fluoride, certain types of food, just the lack of certain type of information, even our exchanges on social media, all of these things start to hinder our pineal gland, start to calcify it. And with it being calcified, is basically it's clouded. Your judgment is clouded. Excuse me. Your mentality is clouded. You're very easy to be manipulated, easily to be controlled. So we calcify, and I say we by basically powers that be, because yeah, but we calcify your pineal gland in order for you to become more submissive. If I'm able to control it's in the center of your brain, and it's the part of your brain that does, I'd like to say everything, but it's responsible for everything. It's responsible for how you feel. It's responsible for your reception of your feelings, your interpretation of your feelings, how you project those feelings, what you're able to manifest. We hear manifest a lot. The pineal gland plays a significant role in manifestations as well, because it's your think process. It's a matter of what you're absorbing and what you're able to resonate with.
Now, before you go further and everything, just so people who are listening to us can understand, could you kind of clarify what calci, calci, however how did you say that again?
Calcification.
Calci,
Okay,
yeah.
so calcifying, like I said, is kind of like clouding it. I'm going to tell you the exact definition, but
Like
it's clouding.
just in your own
Calcification is
words, like the
it's the
process.
accumulation of salt. And
Oh,
so with that, but it's the accumulation of salt in body tissues and in other places besides just the tissues, but your brain is one of your biggest. And so with calcification, it also it just causes you to cloud. It clouds your judgment. It clouds the way you think. It makes you less powerful. You have the power to move your mind. Like you guys, it's funny because when we were talking about them building the pyramids, and you're like, yeah, there's something they cannot even fathom. But before, and then they were like, there has to be some type of technology. But the technology is us. We are the technology. We're the technology that, quote unquote, new age technology is attempting to mimic, attempting to replicate, but you don't have to resort to having a chip inside of your brain to have infinite amounts of knowledge. You don't have to resort to like robots in order for them to perform like your most highest desire. Like you are the creation of that. The thing about it is, with calcification, like I said, it's just clouding your judgment. Calcification means to kind of put a bunch of filler over it, and just to where it's like it's foggy. So think of it as like a crystal ball, and then I throw my fog, or I throw my dust, which would be me twerking online. I throw that on there, and then I throw some porn on top of it, and then I throw pedophilia on top of it. I throw fast money on top of it. I throw the need for money and the relevance of money being everything. I throw all of that on top of your crystal ball. You don't have your crystal ball anymore. You have the stuff that I've thrown on top of it. Well, if I can make the stuff that I've thrown on top of your crystal ball present self as more appealing, and more susceptible or acceptable, then it becomes to where the crystal ball becomes irrelevant. Why use the crystal ball if I feel like this is better? And the only reason you feel like this is better is because I first clouded your crystal ball before I told you it was better. You would not believe me that it was better if your crystal ball was still crystal, i.e., me, and then you're throwing this in my face, and I'm like, no, I know better. No, I know better. But people are only able to be controlled if they do not know better. So I have to make all the benefits of being super, super rich be presented to you and show you how great it is to be quote unquote on top of the world, even though some of the richest people in the world are not really on top of the world. Everyone's susceptible to anyone else's plan, if you will, as much as you allow your energy to intersect. Because we're energy beings, because we're exchanges of currency, like your energy is your highest form of currency. What people are used to being as currency, gold, diamonds, money, or that's currency in the most minimum form. Whereas your energy exchanges and who you choose to interact with, who you choose to allow within your cipher, who you choose to just absorb that is actually your highest form of currency. That's your energy, your state of being, and it puts you in your state of being. It presents you and it encourages you to be a certain type of person. And if you're influenced by everything on the outside, outsourcing is what it's called. But if you're outsourcing for everything that you are on the inside, you have no clue of who you are on the inside. This is what causes so much where people be like, oh, I'm having a midlife crisis. People only have midlife crisis because they are not living their life to the fullest from the beginning. They start to see things clearer. Experience breeds learning results and learned results. And as a result, of experience, some people, it looks like they're just going crazy or they're all over the world, they're going berserk. But it's the truth that they've actually been able to develop and experience because, wow, I've been living a lie. You turn on the TV and you watch it and they say you're going to go to brain dead, you're going to be a couch potato, you're going to go brain dead. Like, you are transmitting a signal out from your brain. And while you're transmitting this signal, well, where do you think it's going? The reason why Big Brother, quote unquote, is watching is because everything has give and take. So you think, and I don't like to make it sound like a crazy person or TV's watching you, but the truth of the matter is, it isn't even exchange. There's no way for you to exchange your energy, i.e., give your energy to your television, and not that television receive something back. Like, it's receiving your energy. So, well, what do you mean the TV is receiving my energy? The man behind the mask or the puppet behind the strings, the one is, that's when you're sitting there, how you feel about that television at that time, how whatever you feel about that show, all of your emotions, that's what is creating who you are. Okay, so this is how they feel at this moment. We know what to do and able to harvest it. That's what adrenochrome. If have you ever heard of? Well, I saw someone share something about adrenochrome. Adrenochrome is extracted from the brain at the pineal gland, usually, preferably by the elites. Not all of the elites, but lots of elites. They prefer it to be of a child, and they have to be in a fearful state because that's when it's at its highest, and that's what keeps you sharp. It keeps you thinking, and it keeps you youthful. Well, if I am able to keep you in a oblivious mind state and you have no idea that I'm taking this from you because it's extracted freely when you're, like I said, exchanging. Before, that's why people do forehead kisses or they tap their foreheads to each other. When you tap your forehead, your third eye to another person's third eye, especially to enlightened beings, like, it may not have the same effect. I've never done it with a not enlightened being, so I'm unsure of the effect it would have on not an enlightened being. But I know for a fact the power that it induces within the two of you is a direct connection. Like, if you ever seen that movie Conehead, the way they engage in intercourse is literally how we can exchange power, more not just freely, but more, it'll be strong, more intensely. And so
Now,
with
right
this
there,
regard.
on the when you was talking about the calciation, um,
Mm-hmm.
and like right there where you're getting at there, a lot of what you were saying was spiritual, okay? But like, do you feel that that also uh, coincides on a physical level, like the things you eat, the things you take into your body?
Oh, absolutely. Fluoride calcifies you, anything with an immense amount of salt. And then this is something else that you have to realize as well. Okay, so the pineal gland, it was most commonly called, like I said, the third eye, but it's located in the center of the brain. It is connected to light. With your think about people that are like, I like the lights off, and they don't really like the light, a lot of lights, or they go out in the sun and it hurts them, and that's where you get the most power from. The sun is like the most powerful resource in the universe, and some people cannot stand to be in it 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then you have, but and this is strategic because there's some people who can live in it and bask in it, and I'm kind of sort of in the middle. I can tolerate it as long as possible, as necessary as well. But if too much of it, it's extreme, and because it is so powerful, it is a power. But yes, you if you could, alkaline, no diseases or any illness or any sickness can exist in anything in an alkaline state. So when you're thinking about like your diets and your foods, and the less alkaline, or well, excuse me, the more alkaline, the better. So if you're like, for me personally, there's this water. It's called Eternal water. There's a bunch of alkaline waters. Like Walmart has a 88 water. Alkaline water neutralizes your body. Binaural beats. I don't know if you ever heard of these, but these isotones, they can reconstruct your cells, reconstruct. And I think me and you had this exchange before about the whole body regenerated in about 2 years worth of time, and then you added more information. Right, on a cellular level, it takes about seven. But this I've seen different things in regards, but when you are consuming anything, like that's why we have a digestive process. It's a matter of how well your body can consume and then release anything that you enter, that enters your body. But we're taught that we have to have meat. That's a big thing, and we don't have to have meat at all. Like there's ways to get protein without meat. We can actually survive without food for 40 whole days, and in some cases longer, give or take. But we would not try that. I mean, because we're told we eat processed food. The processed food has chemicals in it that they to sustain the food, to for it to last longer. Well, those chemicals are unnatural. Anything unnatural is going to, if and you're a natural being, it's obviously going to cause genetic mutation within you, and then we call it adaptation or evolution. But we're not really evolving; we're devolving. And we're doing this because we're injecting, and we're just accepting that this is an easier way to do this. So I'll eat this out of the box because it's easy, it's quick, and it's accessible. Guilty is charged same as me, but at the same time, knowing better, knowing that this stuff has some type of chemical that may have an effect on me, the way you would be able to, even if you do ingest these things, counter that is to at least have a strong third eye. Because with your third eye, you can have any reality that you would like with your third eye in your control. And that's knowledge is the foundation of all things in existence. And education, we say we are going to go get an education, but education, the root word of education is educa. Educa means to bring out from, which means it's already present there. We're going to dig deep into that third eye and we're going to bring it out. They If you have never seen something before, it does not exist, and that's how you should kind of stand on with anything. If you have not experienced it, if it was not a manifestation of yours, everything, even this conversation, in some way, shape, or form, you had a thought. Everything you see, the biggest buildings that you see, the biggest whatever, robots, spaceships, whatever, it all started with a thought. Someone had to think of those things, and then it was the facilitation of that thought. The thing is, now because we have so many interceptors, we're not able to facilitate our own thoughts. Instead, these interceptors come in and they look at your thoughts and they quote unquote steal your ideas. But it's because you have no idea that your idea is actually the creation of an event or a place or a thing. Like, you feel as though it's just a thought, no big deal. You're unsure that you can do this. You're unaware that you can do this. And then you, like you said, it seems spiritual, but it's not. It's biological. It is. Our ability to create and manifest is not a spiritual mindset, but it has been taught to be a spiritual mindset in order for it to seem to be less